All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to June. We're not there yet, but when you wake up tomorrow, it'll be June 1st. Oh, it's a good birthday month. We've got lots of people. Jan's birthday, my birthday. Nephew's got a birthday. Is Ian's birthday in June? Liam's birthday, yeah.
And Robin's birthday.
Yeah, Robin's. Yeah, we got lots of birthdays in June. So it's a good month coming up. We ended last week in Romans. Yeah, I went back and I listened to the end of it, just the end of it. I didn't watch all of it. And I said, we'll probably start here next week. And it's in a chapter, it's in the beginning here of something that I've read multiple times. And sometimes I think, gosh, I read that a lot. But maybe it's because things are important. And what are we talking about? Well, I think we're talking about something very important right now. We're talking about how we attain perfection while here on earth in God's eyes. Now, let me ask you a question to ask yourself. Is it possible for you to be perfect before God while you still have got your human side that it says, the mind wars with the soul? And you're going to say no, or at least I think you would say no. I say no. We can't be perfect because we still have the influences of Satan upon us right now, who's, constantly, as he did Christ, tempting us and causing us to second guess ourselves, have those little doubts in our mind. Is God real? Oh, yeah, God's real. Is God really real? Yeah. Is this just something we fake made up and believe in our minds because we have to have something greater than what we can explain here on earth? The answer for me is no, but the answer for others is yes. But I serve a God that I believe created me, and he is the creator of not just me, but earth and heaven and everything. And then he's put rules and parameters in our lives in order to please him. And it's not like we are here to be his pets, like we have our pets, our cats and our dogs and everything, and we make them mine and do what we want them to do. But God has created us to be a worker for him. And in our minds, or at least I will say in my mind, when I was much younger, even when I was a Christian in the beginning, I believed that I still was, it was like, God, how can you serve me so I can be happier? And you'll have the blessings of God in my life. And then later on, I realized that's not what we're here for. We are here for the workings of God and to do the things for God. And he said, well, I want to do what I want to do. Well, that's exactly what Satan allows you to do, is whatever it is you want to do. But God says, I want you to be here to be a tool and a worker for me, an ambassador for me, for the joys and pleasures of bringing all souls, as they say, fishers of men, all souls unto him. So that when the new day does come, and people, this is a world that is vanishing away, okay? This that we live in someday will no longer be, and it will be burned up, is what the Bible says. I picture in my mind what that might look like. And I never want to scare anybody, so maybe I just don't say out loud, but wars are quite destructive. But this will cease to be one day. And the Revelation 19 tells us the smoke of this earth will rise up forever and ever, and a new heaven and a new earth will be created. And that's what we're talking about over here. Yeah. This new day, a new heaven and a new earth. Do I need to say it? It doesn't take long to say it, so let me go ahead and just say it like it says in the Bible, okay? This is Revelation 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, who was given this vision, saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, naming the holy city, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride for her husband. So there's a new heaven and a new earth getting created. And God wants any and all that can be a part of that to be a part of that. Otherwise, they are on the outside. And maybe I should have read more, but they will remain in the lake of fire for an eternity. All right, so that's kind of why I say this is important. We're called to action. We're not called to exist and just be here. We're called to participate in our own salvation. Not that we can create it on ourselves, because that's what Christ did for us, but we are called to come to the action of what Christ has offered us. And what is that? Grace. Grace. So, we read things like Romans chapter 12, and it says, I love some of these words. You know, we don't use them today, but I beseech you, therefore, brethren, I strongly encourage you. It's my heart's desire to get across to you how important what I'm about to say is. That's what, when I read the word beseech, is what I think of. Oh, I come up with another word here. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I've got another word to share with you. But I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God. What are the mercies of God? Let's see. I won't go there. We could go over to Romans chapter 3 and read about it, but it's the blessings. It's the grace. It's the kindness. It's the forgiveness. It's the all-inclusiveness. I beseech you there by the mercies of God that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, that while you are yet here, you set aside your heart's desires and you focus in on what you think God's desires are. Bible's telling us this. It's not Anthony May. It's not me telling you that. It's the Bible telling you that. So that you do present your bodies a living sacrifice that's holy and acceptable unto God. Why? Because it is your reasonable service. It's not God asking you to do something, oh, well, that's a stretch, you know. Why would I have to go above and beyond? No, I'm asking you to do something that's reasonable. Why is it reasonable? Because what you have in exchange for it is so much greater that to do this little thing that I'm asking will give you an eternity of joy. Okay. An eternity of joy. For what? For doing this reasonable sacrifice while we're on this pilgrimage here on earth to do service unto God. Sounds reasonable to me. I will make that exchange. And be not conformed. So this is part of your reasonable service. And that's to be not conformed to this world, but instead be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable, perfect will of God. So you have a job, you have a task. A deliverable has been assigned to you. And that deliverable is that you work through this Bible. You work through this life. And you go after, you have actions and participate in the very things that God says that we need to do that is reasonable to serve Him. So what is the perfect will of God? You know, let me ask you, was it the will of God that Eve partook of the forbidden fruit? He said, well, it must have been in the plans or it wouldn't have happened because God controls everything. So yeah, it must have been. Was it the will of God that the Son that He sent here on earth be crucified? Well, it must be because it's a part of the plan, right? Was it the will of God that all the people of the land got together and said, hey, let's build a temple and let's go up and reach God. We love God so much, we want to be with God. Let's go. Let's build this together. It must be because it happened. But God was like, wait a second. No, this isn't the way I want it to be. In fact, God says it repenteth him that he even made man. I am so disgusted with the actions and outcomes of your activities. I'm going to kill you all. But wait a minute, what about us? What if there's one? Would you not do it even if there was just one that served you? Okay, if there was one, fine. Do you know what I'm saying? You say, well, it has to be because it worked out like that. And God's in power and control. Well, we have some measure of our own free will. And we make choices. And we need to make sure that we make the choices that are reasonable for service unto God. So, what? Wait a second. If God wanted this XYZ, then XYZ would be. If that's true, why are there so many warnings in the Bible? Just like the one that we read right here. Be not conformed to this world. I don't have to be not conformed to this world, because if God doesn't want me to be conformed to this world, he will prevent me from being conformed to this world, right? No, wrong. We have an active, powerful power on earth in Satan right now, to whom God has said, for this time I will allow you to exercise your power, and you can seek whom you may devour. Yeah. Just like Job. Think about Job. Righteous man, lover of God. Lots of land, lots of cattle, lots of material possessions. People like material possessions. Lots of family and love, and people like family and love. He had it all. And Satan says, yeah, he loves you, sure, because he's got it made. And God said, okay, we'll go out there and tempt him. You can do whatever you want to do. Take whatever you want to take, but you can't take his life. Do you not think that Satan has that same kind of power today? We have to actively resist Satan and willfully cling unto God. Oh my gosh, it says it in the Bible, right? Yeah, I mean, I could go through, that's not what today's message is about, but yeah, it's there. I'm just wanting to implore upon you how much responsibility you have for this call to action. That's what we're talking about over the last few weeks. It's titled this way: Action Brings Perfection. Does passiveness bring perfection? Can I just sit here and say, well, if God wills it to be, it will be, and I'll be perfect? No, it's action brings it. And that's why it says right here, be careful, be mindful that you are not conformed to this world. So there's a lot of other things we're called to action to do. Listen to these things. They're reasonable. Nothing I'm going to say over the next 20, 30 minutes is going to be unreasonable. Like, oh, go ahead and say it. That's out of reason. I'm not doing that. Yeah, it's reasonable. For I say, this is verse 3 of Romans chapter 12, verse 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God has dealt to every man the measure of faith. Oh yeah, I want to read something else. I want to make sure I get there. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. So this is telling you we're unique, we're different. We're not interchangeable widgets here, okay? For as many members have in one body, all members have not the same office. So we being many are one body in Christ, and every one members of another. Having then gifts. And this is where you start to see the separation, where you personally have a responsibility. Someone, let's say, I don't know, my cousin Aiden picked up the banjo, went to YouTube and started playing it, learning how to play. If somebody gave you a banjo as a gift and said, hey, listen, here's a nice banjo for you. And you accept it, and you say, yeah, I've always wanted to play the banjo. But I think you have a responsibility at that point to at least try to learn to play the banjo. If God has given to you a gift, it is your responsibility to utilize that gift. I have said, I spoke at the VA the other day. I used to teach a lot there. And I, objectively speaking, people, I had teaching partners that I sometimes wish that I didn't have because they just were not good speakers. But objectively speaking, I can tell you I'm a pretty good speaker when I'm at my workplace. Well, I spoke the other day, and I got 2 emails back of somebody saying, wow, that you did a really good job. In fact, one of the people who's a part of our media said, can you do this again and we record you? Like I forgot what she called me. I don't want to sit there and swell my own head up and saying all the great things, but I've been given a gift by God, and my gift has been able to talk to people publicly. Now, here, what do we got? Just a few people here today. So how public is this? Not very public, but I have a responsibility before God to speak to this body. If I haven't been given this by blessing of God, and I say, yeah, no, I'm just going to sit out in the audience. I don't want to, I'm not going to talk. Somebody else preach. I would be wasting my gift. So it's my responsibility. And I have said, whether it's 1 people or 1,000 people, whether I have some form of payment or no payment, I'm here in this pulpit and I'm going to teach because that's what I've been called to do. I have been given a gift and now I must utilize it. If you have been given a gift of God, utilize it. If you don't, you will find out that other things will be wasteful in your life as well. Yeah. Wiping something out of my head right now. So getting my brain back here. Where did I leave this off? Verse 6. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. No matter what your gift is, whether it's prophecy, well, let us prophesy according to the proper portion of faith. Let us tell this wonderful, wonderful story to the best of our ability. Or ministering, let us tend to or wait on our ministering. Or he that teacheth, well, daggone it, teach. Whatever the gift is God has given to you. And I've asked you to Examine yourself many times in the past. And I'm asking you now, not because it's the point of today, but just passively sit there and say to yourself, what gift has God given to me? Do I do it? Am I utilizing it? It's a teaching for another day, but it's a contemplation or contemplating thought for today. Or he that exhorts on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do with simplicity. It doesn't have to be elaborate. When I say elaborate, what I'm talking about is it doesn't have to be showy. Not everybody has to know what you're doing. Sometimes we do things in secret. God has allowed us to have a talent or maybe extra money or we've got whatever it is you have, and you can help somebody else with it. Well, why not? Tell you one. Star speaks multiple languages. One of them's Japanese. We were at a store one day, and there were some people who only spoke Japanese. They were having trouble. They were wanting to purchase an item. Well, the people were asking tons of questions or trying to. The wife didn't speak any English. The kid didn't speak English. The husband spoke a very, very small amount. So I said, you should go help. I don't know. Went over and helped. It made a smooth transaction for those people. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could speak Japanese. Well, yeah, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to speak multiple languages. So utilize it. Utilize it. All right, so what did I stop at? Because 9 is where I want to pick up, because that's when we start getting into the call to action that I mentioned ago. So I'll read 8 again just in case. And he that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do so with simplicity, and he that ruleth with diligence, and he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Right? Be glad to be able to give somebody a reprieve. So, now, these are getting into some of the things that I told you. What is this perfect will of God? What is this? Be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. Well, in the renewing of your mind, there's a call to action to do certain things. And this is not all inclusive. This right here is just what's written down. It says, let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Abhor, that's a funny word. Hate it with great hatred and disdain. It is to an extreme that you push it away. Oh gosh, we'll use that word, eschew. Yes. Eschew that which is evil. Abhor that which is evil. And cleave to, hold in tight that which is good. Be kindly affectionate one to the other with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another. Who do you hang out with? Yeah, we could go multiple directions here. You are the sum of your 5 closest friends. I've talked about that before. It's not my own thought because it is a true statement. Who did Jesus hang out with? What are you doing hanging out with them? Well, the people who are well, they don't need a physician. So you could take this, multiple ways. But what we're saying here is prefer to hang out and be with people who are of like faith and practice as you. The people who love God, And part of that is that you are reaching out to people who don't. You are reaching out to as the example that I just gave you, to the sick people who have need of a physician. And you do that because you are jointly together having that mission, that desire. You are the sum of your 5 closest friends. I'm not going to go there. Be not slothful in business. Wait a second. That's fleshliness, right? I think so. I think it's hey, conduct your life in a prideful, not prideful, in a proud manner, in a way that you are doing the best that you can do. If you're going to do it, why not do it well? How about that? We'll say it like that. And then it's butted right up against serving the Lord. Yeah. You're a total package, people. Make sure your total package is one that I can't have my flesh life without having my spiritual life as well. Gracious. Okay, so these are the call to actions, all right? That's all I want to say to you. Let love be without dissimulation. Be kindly affectionate to one another. Be not slothful in business or in all your duties to which ultimately serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessities of the saints, that you are given to as your byproduct, your go-to is hospitality. I encourage you to bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. I have a hard time with that one personally. But I'm striving to do those things that God tells me are reasonable. Now it's reasonable, I jack them up. No, it's not. What's that going to do? Okay. Rejoice with them that rejoice and weep with them that weep. Empathize and sympathize. Be of the same mind one toward another. Don't concern yourself or mind not the high things, but truly abase yourself or condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. That makes me think of somebody pontificating. Well, let me tell you about the time that I was in. No. Be more concerned with other people than with yourself. And let them know. When people see this package of you, has anyone ever said to you, and by the grace of God, I'm not saying anything about myself, but people have said, you must be a Christian. Why? Well, because I am more concerned, I try, I'm not always good at it, but with making sure the other people are taken care of. That's all I'll say, is taken care of. That they're heard, that they're seen, that they're not made fun of. Yesterday, again, please, I'm not trying to sound pious at all. I'm just trying to give you examples. I saw a lady who was obviously mentally deficient. And I took my time. I wanted to go over and I want to talk to her. I want to make sure that someone out of that whole day interacted with this lady. Yeah. And if I was the only person, at least she had one person. We had difficulty having some communication because she had some extreme difficulties, but she was seen and she was heard. Recompense to no man, verse 17, evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lie within you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, and I will repay, says the Lord. Gosh, this is a whole teaching in itself. But we read it in conjunction with all of this and wrap it up as though it's one package. Therefore, if thy enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in doing so, thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head. And be not overcome evil, but it's your duty, your job, your task, your call to action to overcome evil with good. Now, before I go much farther, I have to say, if I was sitting here and we switched the script and I was trying to convince you to have this much dedication, this much commitment unto a corporation or a club or an ideology, you know what that would be? That'd be like a cult. I'd be trying to call you into a cult. Okay, let's get some differences out there too, because I always want to. The word cult, C-U-L-T. You know what that means? That means someone is trying to bring you into the power and control of an individual. David Koresh. Remember David Koresh? I'd call that a cult. No, I want to make sure I'm saying the words correctly. I would call that a cult. Jim Jones. That was a cult. And then, separately speaking, there's something called A-N space, occult. O-C-C-U-L-T. Occult. Maybe there's only one C. But what the difference is that is something that is bringing you in a part of something that's got some mystery surrounded in it. And you don't get to know everything about it until you get deeper into it. Something like the Masons or Scientology. Scientology is not a cult. Scientology is an occult. Just want to make sure that when I talk about this, I want you to understand and know what I'm talking about. I am not trying to 33 minutes in, people. I am not trying to get you to be a part of an occult or a cult. But when I'm sitting here saying, hey, you should have a certain way of belief, you should have a certain way of action, and your desires should be toward and for this faith that I'm talking about. Well, it starts to sound very cultish, doesn't it? Well, look over here with me in chapter 95. Well, actually, it's not chapter, it's Psalm. Psalm 95. And let's read it. Let's read it, but let's talk about who wrote it, because it's written in a portion of a first person, and then another portion of it is kind of written in a second person. Well, let me tell you, it is accepted and believed that it's David that wrote this, but yet some of the I's in here, or the I's in here, are not David, they are God. So it is writing it as though God was talking, okay? So this is the 95th Psalm, Psalm 95. It's pretty short. Let's read it. And this is my justification, if you will, of saying that what we're doing here is not cultish at all. Why is it not cultish? Because it is focused on God. Well, gosh, cults are focused on gods. Oh, no, I didn't say gods. I said God. Right? There's a difference. And let me just say this. If you wanted to start making a difference, and oh my gosh, I know we had this conversation a little bit ago, but this is Yahweh, all right? That's the God we're talking about. What is Yahweh? Who is Yahweh? Is Yahweh God? How is God different than Yahweh, and it's different than El Shaddai, that's different than El Roi, it's different than whatever name you want to place? Well, they all have some specific meanings behind them. And I personally am fine with using the general term of God because he is complete. Well, he is Yahweh. He is the complete, which is the creator and the head of everything. Anything that was made by the God that I'm talking about. All calls to duty and action before God are unto this God. So it says, "O come and let us sing unto the Lord, and let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before the presence with thanksgiving, and make a joyful noise unto him with psalms. For the Lord is a great God, and a great King, above all gods." Recognizing that, there are some lowercase g gods out there. We make a lot of things in our life a god, whether it be money or our playtime or whatever it is. We place it to where it's so important that it becomes a god unto us. And I'm just telling you that nothing supersedes Yahweh, God, the uppercase G. In his hand are the deep. This is how infiltrating God is into not just our lives, but the entire world. In his hands are the deep places of the earth. The deepest crevice and crack, God made it. God is there. The strength of the hills is his also. The highest mountain, God made it. God is there. The sea is his, and he made it. And his hands formed the dry land. What we're saying here is this world and anything that we know of, anything that we can conceive in our minds, or anything that we can tangibly touch with our hands, anything that we can buy or sell, anything that we can emotionally attach ourselves to, God made it and controls it. The sea is his, and he made it, and he formed it and his hands formed the dry land. Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. Today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your heart. As what? In the day of provocation? As in the day of the temptation in the wilderness? Why did you bring us out here to die? When your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that do err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. Unto whom I swore in my wrath that they should not enter into my rest. What rest? Well, for them, the rest of the promised land. But for us today, this same rest is talked about in Hebrews, I don't know, chapter 2, 3, 4, as the Sabbath rest. And having that, oh my gosh, I have found, oh gosh, yeah. Flashback to the 1970s. I found it. Do you remember the bumper stickers, the billboards? They were everywhere. I found it, I found it, I found it. And all written in yellow and black. I found it. Everybody asked, well, what did somebody find? They found that Sabbath rest. So if you think what I am pushing, and not that I think anybody is, but we explore all areas. But if you think I am pushing a cult or an occult, well, let me just tell you, what I am preaching is an omnipotent God, the creator of everything. Most importantly, for you, the creator of your soul that never dies. Your soul never dies. And when you leave this world, your soul didn't die, your body did, but your soul goes on. Where to? I pray to God that it's on into the New Jerusalem. God, there's a stop in paradise. But I'm having a call, standing on my soapbox and saying, come to the Lord. Come to God. And does it require you to change your life? Yeah, my life's changed. Does it require you to believe things that you can't prove? Yeah, it does. Faith is the evidence, or is the things hoped for, and not the evidence of things that are seen. Otherwise, it would not be faith. So, sometimes it may sound like I'm saying, hey, you have to act and say and do and be and believe certain things. It's not my rules. It's God's rules. And I'm trying to share them. And I'm trying to tell you that I'm not there yet. I'm going to venture to guess, and I'm not going to point any fingers, but I'm going to say, probably you're not there yet either. You don't know me. You can't say that about me. Okay, fine. But I'm telling you about me. I'm on this journey. I'm reading these calls to action by God to strive to be perfect because it is reasonable. Jeez. Let's start next week in Romans chapter 13. I'm going to call this, say, June 6th. And I read that. Yeah. Put on the Lord Jesus Christ is what we're going to talk about next week.